All right, questions.
I know you said you were expecting Jackson Dart. I don't know if you saw, but they just ruled him out. How does Jameis Winston being in there, how does he kind of maybe change the dynamics of what they do offensively?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that I think the core of what they do and the pro-style offense itself is not going to change, And I think even if Dart had played, there wasn't going to be a ton of quarterback run, things of that nature. So I think the run game itself stays intact. I think the pass game, there is some vertical pass game to it. I don't think it changes a ton. And, look, I know Winston, very well, man. This guy, he can put it on a dime, and he's not afraid to freaking rip it in there. He's competitive, smart guy. And so, look, he's going to give him a chance. He's played a lot of games, man, won a lot of games. So, but we've been prepared for both, we've made sure that we were prepared just in case if you got a little different flavor with Dart, but we kind of felt like Winston was probably going to be the guy.
Just one other thing on Jameis, since you were with him, beyond what he does on the field, just the way that people seem to respond to him. Maybe
he's a great human being. He is. He's a leader, man. He's one of those guys that I think a lot like Teddy. Just people gravitate to him because he's such a positive, upbeat, competitive. Man doesn't get frazzled, doesn't get worried about, the small stuff. He's just a great dude, man. And he does a lot of things for a lot of people. So that's the type of guy he is, Enjoyed our time together. He's a pro, man. He's a stud.
I've always talked about Khalif being kind of one of those glue pieces on this roster, a guy that can just step in and
Who's
do
that? Sorry?
Khalif.
Yeah.
A guy that can just step in and do anything. I think he's like 37 yards away from the punt return franchise record. Just curious, what would that mean for a guy like that? What would it mean to you for a guy like that to kind of be at the top of that list and get his recognition a little bit?
Well, knowing Leaf, he's not going to say much about it if it happens. And if it does, he's going to credit the rest of the guys around him because that's just how he is and how he thinks. Is the only reason he would have had a chance is because of the people around him blocking, helping him get there. For everybody that knows Leaf and what he's capable of, it would mean a lot because the way the guy works, all the different jobs he does for us, the unselfishness, the quickness, the explosion, the tenacity, the fearlessness to take some of these. He's busted some of these big ones by being fearless, man. Getting over there, making a tough catch with a guy in his face and then cutting it loose. Not everybody can do that. That takes, you got to be, you got to be wired a little different than he is. So, and I mean that in a good way. But that's the goal. Let's get this thing for him, and he just get a hat on a hat. He will do the rest. I say it all the time. It's like a lot of our skilled players, man. Just put a hat on a hat, and those guys will do the rest.
You activated Malcolm earlier this week. You still got 5 guys in that return to play practice window. You said you'd be able to gauge a lot more based on just kind of Thursday's intensity in practice. Of those 5, do you anticipate bringing any of them with you to the game this week?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about Malcolm going. I feel pretty good about DJ Reed going right now. Those would be the 2 that I'm probably most optimistic about, and Davenport's close.
Hey, Dan, Brian Branch yesterday was a little bit critical of himself this season. Was frustrated with the lack of ball production and noted that he hasn't had as many opportunities in coverage this year. The team's just targeting him less. What have you made of his season so far on the field?
That he's productive as hell. That's what I've, and I get it, man. Sometimes you go in these games and you feel like, am I really a factor or the factor I want to be? And some of it is because you're not getting targeted or the run goes the other way. But I can tell you this, he's a force. He's a force. He's a productive player. He does a ton of things for us that he puts a lot of fires out. And I go back to his versatility in coverage and pressure. And playing in the box, run game. He can play deep, but he can play in the box. He just does so many different things for us at a high level. So he's having an outstanding season.
Have you noticed that teams kind of avoiding him or going away from him in the passing game?
Well, I think some of it is. I I don't know. That's kind of hard to say whether they have or they haven't. I mean, I think a lot of these, even if they did, yeah, he's sticky coverage, but it's also they don't have time to get it to him. You know, our front's done a hell of a job of being disruptive and getting in the quarterback's face. But, you know, I've said it before, BB can cover now. He's one of our best cover guys. And he can cover anybody. He can cover receivers, you know, tight ends, backs, you name it. Whatever you need, he's got it.
To Reed for a sec, you know, he was playing at such a high level before that injury. How's he looked out here for you, and anything new with Kirby or Terry?
With who? I'm sorry.
DJ.
Yeah, he looks good. You know, he looks good. I mean, he looks like he's, you know, he's back off the injury. He's running around well. You know, certainly any of that's going to be the more he gets back on the field and just gets his feet back under him. You know, it's been a minute, but yet he's played a lot of ball too. And so it's not going to take very long. It really is like riding a bike. But, you know, happy to see him out there. And I know he's ready to go.
How about those other guys, Kirby or
doing better, doing a lot better, progressing.
Chance he plays this week, or is he?
Probably slim.
And then, you know, when things are kind of up and down like they've been for you guys of late, how do you know when things get back on track? Is it one game that can do it? Is it one moment? Is there what are you sort of looking for to know like this is back to where you know?
Well, I think you worry about. I go back to this, man. We need to play our best ball against the Giants because it's the next opponent right in front of us, and then you go from there. You know, you want to start stacking some of these together, back to back to back, all right? And so it starts right now, you know, playing in all three phases against the New York Giants who are coming into town. That's where it starts.
Just had a question kind of about a statistical anomaly. You guys haven't had a pass interference called on the opponents defensively this year, and you only had one last year. Do you kind of have an explanation for why that might be?
No, it's interesting. We've talked about that before. It is interesting, you know. Sometimes I guess that, you know, like Saint's so freaking strong that he can pull himself out of being held pretty good, and you don't necessarily, you know, whereas there's some other guys, if you don't have a lot of strength, one tug, and you can really notice it. You know, I do think there's something a little bit that falls into that, but as far as everything else, I don't know. You know, I don't know.
Is there anything? Is there like a teaching point of like drawing that
fall down? Just flop and fall down, and then if the ball gets picked because you fell down, then you guys are like, "Why did you fall down, man? Why didn't you try to go for the ball?" Well, you know. No, not really. I mean, look, we tell our guys, we know we're playing tight man coverage, tight match. We know these guys are going to really try to play sticky like our guys do. Man, it's about separating. You do everything you can to separate violently, and we just preach it, we talk it, and I do feel like our guys do a good job of separating. But I don't know why we don't get calls. You know, I'm not.
A quick follow-up. Just do you have an update on Sam Laporta? Just any.
Yeah, so look, Sam did have a procedure, all right, and he's going to be out for a while. I think we would be fortunate to have a chance to get him back for the rest of the season. Yeah, at some point. I think that's very, very slim.
Speaking of Sam, I mean, you guys are...
Good news is the procedure went really well, long term.
Yes, and you're obviously a heavy 12 personnel team, or more so than like most NFL
Who's
teams.
that?
You guys,
Yeah.
have done 12 personnel more than. How does that change the dynamic? I mean, you guys seem to scale that back and run a little bit more 11 against Philly. I mean, just going forward, like how do you foresee that?
Well, I believe in using multiple packages. You know, certainly I want to get our playmakers on the field, but it's also I still want to be able to dabble in some 12 personnel, just because I think that's good for us up front, and you know, and it enables us to do other things. It sets up a little bit more of what you do offensively. Now, it doesn't mean we'd go 60 reps of it, but we still use it. You know, certainly losing Sam hurts. You know, that hurts. But we'll adjust. We'll adapt. We got plenty of weapons here. And our O-line's going to do a hell of a job.
How does it alter also the possible use of 21, I guess? I mean, maybe using that more, I guess.
I mean, Not much. I mean, a little bit. There again, like I say, losing Sam hurts because he's a hell of a football player. He can do it all. Run block, obviously the receiver that you get, but yet, we still got Brock, and there's things he can do. We got Ross Dwelly, we got Skip. There's a good chance we may bring Ferk this week, Ferkshire. And so we've got some versatility.
With Frazier, obviously there's probably a feeling out process of where he fits in best for you as he gets acclimated. I'm just wondering if, just based on where you're at personnel-wise, where have you maybe found that he's going to be focusing on once he gets activated?
Well, it's a good question. We've really worked him at both spots. I mean, he's doing some tackle for us, but then he's kicking in at guard too. So right now, we're just trying to get him. It's kind of like, all right, well, if he's going to go, he's got to be able to play multiple spots if something happens. So we're kind of moving him around, but I would say we do it. We try to give him, all right, here's some tackle reps, bam, 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 and then move him, all right, here's your guard, bump, 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 and do our best to not bounce him play to play, at least let him sink his teeth into some of it. But so he's kind of doing a little bit of everything right now.
It's just interesting to me because Branch obviously consolidated him to nickel as a rookie. Tate, you wanted to keep him at right guard. Like, what is it about certain players where you feel confident as a young player to play them in multiple spots like that?
Well, I think some of it, honestly, what's different, I would love to do that. I would love to say, this is what you need to focus on, this is it. But some of it is also, well, what is he going to be best at right now? I mean, we just got him back. We got no camp, we got nothing. Like Mahogany, we knew he played guard, and we knew he was a guard, and you're going to focus on guard. So we never really were, whereas Frazier's played tackle, man. He's been a tackle, and he's played guard. And so it's kind of like, all right, what is he best suited to play here in the NFL versus, watching him against our defense, our guys. But also, where could we need the most help? So we're trying to just, we're trying to get him both, and it's not easy, but yet that's the task we're given right now.
Appreciate it, Dan.
Yep.